Wisp Sports Radio, the voice of women in sport.
Hello and welcome to Season 3, Episode 24 of The Horse Show on Wisp Sports Radio. I'm Chris Stafford, coming to you from the FEI World Equestrian Games in Tryon, North Carolina. It is day 11 of competition here, and we were able to catch up with some para-dressage today, as well as the driving marathon. That was all great fun here at the Tryon International Equestrian Centre. Really exciting competition out there on the marathon course, and also all of the grades, the 5 para grades, did their freestyle today. And I was able to catch up with Britain's Sophie Wells, who's just won yet again another gold medal. She missed out in Normandy, but she came back to collect her second gold medal of these games. And I had a chat with her a short while ago to get her reaction to her performance here. So let's hear from Sophie. Another gold medal. Sophie, you keep collecting them.
It's a nice habit to have. I'm not going to try and get out of that one. No, I'm really pleased with today.
Right, so a double-hander taking away from this WEG after you missed out last time. Talk us through this performance. The performance is all week, Sophie, and how the horse improved.
Yeah, I mean, on the first day, I think we were both a little bit nervous coming in for the individual, and you never know quite how they're going to react. You know, he's new to this sort of massive environment, but he came back to me and he was concentrating. But I knew coming out that it wasn't our best performance, and I knew that there was still more in there. So when we went to the individual on the Thursday, he was amazing outside. We'd reviewed the videos with my coaches, and we upped our game and got a personal best and world record, so that was amazing. And then today, he was brilliant. He was a little bit on edge. I think we gave him like the day off yesterday, and he was obviously feeling quite fresh. So he was a little bit on edge, but we did what we had to do today, and I'm really pleased with our performances.
Talk about your preparation for these games, Sophie, and what you had to do at Hartpury, and how the horses improved and prepared for the big one.
Yeah, I mean, we spent the winter, training quite hard for the Worlds this year. The WEG year is a big one, just like a Paralympic year, and we've really upped our game through the winter. We've done a few internationals, we did Deauville International and Hartpury International to get qualified and selected to come. And we got career best scores in Deauville in April, so that set the year up really well. But then it does put a little bit of pressure on, coming into a championship when you're in good form, because you just want to prove yourself and, do it for the rest of our team as well. The people that have been behind me and helped me for not just this year, but for pretty much my whole career. So, I mean, we've left no stone unturned really within the training, and I think it's shown here this week.
Well, the Brits always come in pretty favourite, don't they? I mean, you're the team to beat. Let's talk about your relationship with your owner, Charlotte, you've been with for a couple of years now. Yeah,
I mean, I started teaching her in about 2010. She's a low-level eventer, I just started teaching her. Didn't have any idea that she would become an owner at any point. And then she came to watch in 2012 with her family, saw that we obviously did quite well, and then afterwards offered to buy me my next superstar, really. So we went on the hunt, and it took about 7 months to find George, but found him, fell in love with him in the minute I saw him on the video, and then when I saw him in real life. And Charlotte's been a massive support since. Earlier this year we bought another horse, a rising 4-year-old. So maybe in a few years' time he'll start to step into George's shoes. But Charlotte's been amazing. She's the best owner, just like Jackie Walker, who owned Pinocchio and Gladstone. They're amazing, and you couldn't wish to have better supporters. And I'm just so grateful that they've given me the opportunities that I've had.
Well, this is what it's all about, isn't it? It's not just the owners, the supporters. We should mention the grooms as well. Tell us about your groom. Give us a name and tell us about it, because they're the unsung heroes.
Yeah, so Louise Parkes has been my groom. He came to work for me 18 months ago at home. My travelling groom, Beth Revel, left me late last year, so he stepped into Beth's shoes and started to travel to competitions with us. And he's really stepped up to the game. He's only 22, but he's responsible. He loves the horses. He'll do anything for George. He'll get up in the middle of the night if he have to. He slept out here when the hurricane was about to hit. He slept in the stables to make sure the horses were fine, and that gives me a lot of confidence that I know that someone will do anything for the horses.
Totally. Well, just going back to how the competition unfolded all week for you, Sophie, obviously you got one gold medal in your pocket coming into the freestyle. Did you have the horse that you wanted? And because this was, the second time you've done this freestyle with this horse?
Yeah, it's the second time. We came out of Deauville, and I was like, I would think I need to get a new freestyle. And yeah, I mean, I loved the last one, but he's grown up so much in the past few years that actually he kind of outgrown it a little bit in the technical side. So I set about doing the floor plan, and it actually took a long time to do the floor plan because I knew what I wanted, but I couldn't quite figure it out. But I came up with this, and I mean, it's really technical, it's really difficult, but I think he's capable of pulling it off now. And then we went down the route of getting the music together. So I spoke to Tom Hunt, who'd done my past couple of musics, and he decided that he wanted to compose something for George, because he's quite elegant and also powerful, but he is probably more elegant than the horses I've had in the past. So I knew I wanted something a little bit lighter than powerful. So yeah, it took a bit of backwards and forwards, and Tom was really patient with me because I was like, can you just take this bit out here and put this bit in here? But that's the amazing thing about Tom, that he can do all of that. So yeah, it's taken a lot of effort to get to the point where you go in the arena and you do your 5-minute test, but I'm just really grateful for everyone that's helped for that. So yeah.
Do you enjoy that part, putting the music together? Are you musically minded?
I love the freestyle, and I wouldn't say I'm a musical person, but I know what I want in terms of the performance, and I think a good freestyle to music, the floor plan enhances the music and the music enhances the floor plan, and if you get it right, it can be incredible. And I always have a bit of a vision in my mind as to what I want out of it, so the only problem then is that you don't want to stop until you get it really right. But no, I'm really happy with how it's turned out.
Any fine-tuning for it next time?
I think we need to do it in competition a couple of more times just to get it a little more slick, but I'm happy with it. I'll go back and have a look at the video later on today, and yeah, I'm sure we'll sit down with my coach Angela Weiss and yeah, with a fine-tooth comb.
Well, going back to England now with these medals in your pocket, Sophie, you've done so much already. What's next on your bucket list?
Well, obviously Tokyo's the big one coming up now. I want to get a couple of my horses out of Grand Prix next year. That would be really good. I've got a really good string of horses coming through at the moment, from 4 years old up to George. So yeah, it's getting them back out and competing again over the winter, the younger ones, and getting them qualified for regionals and maybe para competitions for next year. But yeah, I love doing that. I love my coaching. I love bringing horses on, and that's for me is what I'm really passionate about. And yeah, the competition comes out of that really.
Well, it's easy to ask a gold medalist, how much they enjoyed a games, but give us an overall view of not so much the medals and the performances, Sophie, but everything else about this experience.
Yeah, I mean, the venue here is amazing. Obviously, there was a lot of talk about it not being quite finished, but for the horses, the arenas were brilliant, the stables were brilliant, everyone's very friendly. And I think as a British team, we've been really close, we've supported each other. It's not been the easiest week and easiest competition that we've been at. And I think for all athletes, it's been challenging in terms of the weather and what was threatening, but I think everyone's coped really well with it. And I think that's what the Brits do really well, is that we all come together when we need to and support each other through it. So yeah, it's been a great week. Yeah, we've loved it.
Can't complain, can you, taking home some gold medals here?
Not at all. It's nice to be back on top.
Yes, absolutely. Well, congratulations again, Sophie, and good luck with the lead up to Tokyo.
Thank you very much.
Well, it all comes to a climax here at the World Equestrian Games tomorrow, Sunday, when we wrap up with really the highlight of this week, you could say. It is the individual jumping competition. And joining me now to review the jumping so far here and preview the final tomorrow, and who she expects will get on the medal podium, I should say, is my good friend Louise Parkes, who writes some of the press releases for the FEI the International Equestrian Federation organization here. She's been working diligently to produce those videos, those press releases all week, and she's also been on video with me. She did a Facebook Live earlier in the week, and no one knows better the form of the jumpers because she follows them all over the world. Louise, what do you think of it so far?
It has been the most spectacular week of show jumping I've experienced, I have to say. It's been fantastic. The quality of the horses, the quality of the riders, but the pure quality of the sport. And I would put a great deal of that down to fantastic course building by Ireland's Alan Wade. I'm at it again, Chris.
Yes, she's going to claim her patriotism, and of course Alan Wade, being Irish, has designed all the courses here at WEG this week. And just going back, let's look at the speed class, the individual performances. Then of course we had the Nations Cup, the team medals awarded yesterday, and obviously being a dual citizen as I am of USA, we're top of the medal podium, so that was very, very exciting. But there was quite a shift on the individual rankings going into the final here tomorrow, Louise. But first of all, give us your thoughts on the team competitions and how that played out, because as you say, there were so many combinations that could have won it.
Yeah, I mean, Switzerland looked like it was about to walk away with it, and they were jumping brilliantly. They had one weakness, and that was their first line rider, Werner Muff, whose horse Daimler just wasn't producing the goods. I've no idea why. This is a very beautiful horse with a fabulous jump. He was just having a really bad week. So that did pile a lot of pressure on the other three, but for some reason it didn't work out. And then yesterday it completely fell apart when Janneke Sprunger's horse came in, just didn't want to jump the first fence, crashed through that, and when it got to the second fence just said, no, sorry, not doing any of that today, and that was the end of them. So they completely disappeared out of it. And so that shook up the top end of the line. And the Americans were really, really very stunning, really, at the end of the day. How stunning, though, were the Swedes to put all that pressure on them. They were outside the top three. Three fantastic clear rounds, piled all the pressure on. It led to a one-on-one against the USA because McLean Ward, most uncharacteristically, had a fence down, which put them on level pegging. But the very man who actually won it for them at the end of the day was the same McLean. It was just one of those great sporting days. Winners and losers all knew that they had been present at something very special.
They did, and you could tell that it really meant a lot to some of the even veterans like Laura Crouch. You could see her reaction after that, knowing that they'd won the gold medal. They had to go to the jump off, of course, and it came down to just seconds between the gold medalist and the silver medalist. But then you see the rookies. There's been a lot of rookies, a lot of riders making their team championship debut, and one of those, of course, was Adrian Sternlicht, who also showed her emotions in the press conference yesterday. You can see how much it means to them, whether they're first time here or whether they've been doing it for years.
Yeah, and I mean, that said, she wasn't the only one with tears in her eyes. I didn't actually see the medal podium presentation, but I understand McLean's eyes were glistening quite a lot as well. So it's lovely that it means so much to people. And Laura must have been as proud as punch because she had a big hand in training Adrian in her earlier career. Then McLean took over, and Laura, of course, was the one who put them right on target with a brilliant clear round the previous day. She was brilliant clear round yesterday. She had two down the previous day and was really annoyed with herself about that. So lovely to see her coming back as she can. She's just such a great rider and such a great competitor and such a nice person.
Yes, all of those things, and she rises to the occasion, as you say, having had those couple of rails down earlier when she was kicking herself for. She knew she had to turn it up to clinch that gold medal. It all came down to that, and they performed brilliantly. And now, of course, we've got three riders from the US in the top 25 that go through to tomorrow. But before we preview those and who you think is going to finish up on the podium, Louise, what have been other horse and rider combinations that have impressed you here? We're focusing on the women here, so give us some ideas of the rising talent we need to look out for.
Rising talent. Right, Simone Blum, is in the lead in the individual rankings. Have to admit, I don't know a whole pile about her. She's young, she's extremely talented, she has a very beautiful horse, Germany has a lot to look forward to, and I know they realise that even from yesterday's press conference. It was really clear. Otto Becker was saying, these are up and coming riders. Marcus Eining is wonderful, but he's a man at the peak of his career. These are people who are on their way up. And young Morris Tebble as well. I mean, 3 young riders on a team that can take that bronze. For the women, yeah. I mean, Laura Klapaka, was she brilliant? Klapaka, actually, I think she pronounces it. She's a very intriguing, isn't she? Because she has basically been born and reared in the Shokamola system, because her dad runs Paul Shokamola's extraordinary operation in Germany. Her mother is a really enthusiastic rider as well, and so Laura is bred for this job. She's been so impressive.
And she's, of course, on the Swiss team, but going forward, German team, I beg your pardon, the German team. But going forward to tomorrow now, I mean, we've seen, we've got a taste of who's on form and who's overtaking the leaderboard overnight and who we can expect to be contesting the medals. But having said that, before I put you on the spot here, Louise, so often we see with the World Equestrian Games and an Olympic Games, all the form from the year, all the expectations that you may have, it all falls apart, and suddenly the circumstances, I don't know what it is, but there's a different kind of magic in the air when it comes to championships.
Yeah, it is an extraordinary phenomenon, isn't it? I mean, who would have expected that we'd have Simone, at the top of the order today? And I really wish her the best of luck tomorrow. How great that a woman is leading the way, and also. Is she the only one in the top? How many? Gosh, look.
No, we don't have any. We've got Danielle here.
Danielle Goldstein. I loved her. I interviewed her yesterday with her 1,000 feathers in her hair. Oh my goodness, is that some statement or what? And
well, we should explain what you're talking about, because if you haven't been watching the games, I wonder what was it with her hair when she came in. You'll have to explain what there was.
Yes, basically she has had her hair. I don't know how you describe it, but all these beautiful feathers are entangled in her hair, and as she rides along with her crash helmet on, her hair is like, it just has a life of its own coming out from underneath the helmet. It's so eye-catching, it's brilliant fun, and she was really good fun to interview yesterday, actually. She's some character.
Yeah, and she rides for?
She rides for Israel on a lovely mare called Lizzie Mary, which was produced by Ireland's Billy Toomey.
Oh. There we go.
It's all over the place. It's all over the place.
It circles back to Ireland every time when it comes to horses. Okay, who else amongst the women then are we looking at? And I think we only had Amanda Derbyshire, of course, the British rider is based here in the US. She's riding in her championship debut. She actually went over to Europe, I believe, to prepare and try and catch the selector's eye for the team, and it paid off. She's got a tremendous stable of horses here. She's based in the US, and that trip over to Europe to, as I say, to catch the selector's eye. All paid off for her by making the championship debut. She had a couple of rails down early in the week, but she's back in the top 25, which is pretty consistent with her form this year, I think. She's had results in Europe.
I'm going to annoy you now by telling you that there's another Irish connection there, because the man in her life, I believe, is David Blake, son of Michael Blake from County Clare. So there we go again. You can't do anything without the Irish.
Conceivably not. You can't get away with the horses or the riders or the boyfriends by the look of things. But, okay, final predictions then. Are we going to see a woman take away the individual gold medal tomorrow with Simone Blum from Germany?
Yeah, with DSP Alice, an 11-year-old chestnut mare, and very, very beautiful. The way Simone has been jumping, anything is possible. But my goodness, she's being chased by Max Kuhner from Austria, Martin Fuchs from Switzerland, Lorenzo De Luca, who was a bit unlucky yesterday and lost the top spot. He rides for Italy, and of course McLean is in 5th, and there's nothing at all between the top 5. Then we have Ireland's Cian O'Connor in 6th. I mean, really, between first and how many? 9 or 10? There's hardly anything in it. So really, I'm afraid it's a completely open book for tomorrow. One person I'd love to do well, and it's not a lady, is I'm just completely overtaken, as I was by the Kiwis, and I got it totally wrong when it came to the eventing, but is the Australian man, Rowan Willis. Yes. I mean, what an extraordinary story. These Aussies have come out of nowhere and knocked a lot of the European teams out of the park. When it comes to Olympic qualification, they took one yesterday ahead of Ireland, the European champions, and Britain, who didn't make the cut either, and were pretty annoyed about that, I can tell you. He's in 11th spot. He's on 8.31. And Simone is on 2.47. What's in it, really?
Well, there's really nothing much in it at all. It is going to be exciting. Well, what's fun with these World Games is we see these developing nations, Louise, these riders coming forward to compete in the championship for the first time. It's all about qualifying for the Olympic Games because it's the top 6 teams that went through from yesterday. It's the teams only that qualify. The nations, we should say, not necessarily the teams, but the nations. And they, of course, Germany, US, Sweden and the Netherlands and Australia have all done the job. Switzerland, they've all done the job. They're all going to Tokyo in 2020. So that box is ticked. So for Ireland, who finished just outside the qualifications for Tokyo, then they have the opportunity at the European Championships. I believe it's the top 3 that have not already qualified over there that get to go and try and qualify the Europeans. And over here, of course, we have the Pan American Games. We have that opportunity, and that will be in Lima in Peru next year.
And then there's the Longines final next year as well, where there's one last spot up for grabs at the Nations Cup final in Barcelona. So, but gosh, nobody wants to be in the position where their backs are to the wall and they want to take one place. Even at the Europeans, it's going to be cutthroat. It's really not the way we wanted things to go here, the Irish. But hey, that, as Rodrigo Pessoa would say, the beauty of the sport.
It is indeed the beauty of the sport. It's all to play for here. We'll be talking about this more tomorrow on our final show here at the World Equestrian Games as we wrap up the individual medals in jumping. There's also the cones phase of the driving, which will take place tomorrow. That decides the driving medals as well. And we'll be bringing you a Facebook Live as well, first thing in the morning, to preview the day's events here from Tryon, North Carolina. But for today, I think that's pretty much a wrap. It's been a hot one, but it's not quite as searing as yesterday. Did you get outside much?
I did. I thought it was pretty hot, Chris. I did.
Well, you're a fair-skinned Irish woman.
Yes, and I'm going back to blustery winds and freezing cold, so I better enjoy it for the last few hours.
Absolutely. All right. Well, thanks again for joining me today, Louise.
Very welcome.
And that's about it, as I say, for today. Don't forget to follow us on Wisp Sports on all social media channels, and also support our chosen charity for the Games. The official charity of Wisp Sports is Believe Ranch and Rescue, that saves horses from slaughter, and they can be found at believeраnchandrescue.org. And as I said, don't forget to follow us on any of our social media channels to find out what else is happening amongst the world of women's sports. I'll be back tomorrow with a wrap-up of these games, but for now, that's it for me. Thanks for listening.